Foster City, and then I am literally in the wilderness. I'm actually at the foot of Mount Hood in the woods. So that's where the name came from. But the wilderness is fantastic. All right, any other questions? So yeah.
The price?
Yeah, so the price, so Netduino runs anywhere from like $39 to I think $70, depending on the model. So $40 to $70. Then there's a number of, the models range in code RAM size, the size of the application you can deploy, as well as their network connectivity. So there's 2 Ethernet models, one's a 10 base, one's a 10-100. There's a Wi-Fi model as well, and there's a couple of models without network connectivity. And with that, like I said, you get not just the digital I/O, you also get like your analog and I/O and kind of a way to do real hardware stuff. So I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's certainly not it's not super cheap, but I think it's pretty affordable. Yeah.
I'm sure this isn't your top priority right now, but do you have any plans to come out with smaller form factors, like something that would fit within a 2-inch circle?
Yes. So the question is other form factors. So there used to be a Netduino Mini model that the first Netduino had a mini version. It was very small. Absolutely. The next thing that we're working on is super embeddable. Very embeddable. We're using what they call wafer or chip scale wafer packages with ball grid arrays. So what that means is that the package of the chip. So in this case, the microcontroller is 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters or so square, but most of that's just packaging. The next model is based on it's just the size of the wafer in the middle, and instead of having leads on the outside, which take up most of the space, it's got little solder balls underneath. So like a modern CPU, has all this stuff underneath. It's like that, and so we're squeezing it into a very small package. Yeah, totally embeddable. Because the idea there is that we want people to go from prototype to production without any changes.
How far off do you think that is, or do you have an idea?
It's hard to say. I would say don't hold your breath. Go buy Netduino today and have fun and prototype and make cool stuff. But we're hoping to have a beta like by summer that we can get out to folks and be. The idea is that hopefully by fall we'll be shipping a few. We're pretty far along. Yeah, and it's cool. It's cool too. It's really nice. All right, in the back.
I have set up the Raspberry Pi as a client, and I ran into that same problem. You have to go low-level hardware specifically.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get a factory video camera and get it to work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to have a library
Yeah.
like you have. That seems to be an advantage.
Yeah, I hope so. The comment was that he's trying to hook up a video camera to a Raspberry Pi and running into a problem that everyone who does hardware today has, is that you have to put on your hardware hat, you have to go write a bunch of low-level drivers. We're hoping to change that. With Netduino Foundation, I think that's a big step forward. One of the things that I didn't show you, but with Netduino Foundation, there's some base classes in there for communicating over SPI and I2C and serial, such that you don't have to worry about any of that if you know the address. Like, for example, if you're writing a driver for I2C, all you have to do is know the address of the board of the I2C device and the data format, and it's very, very easy. We handle all the plumbing and stuff. And so, like with a video camera, it's TTY or TTL or probably serial. The base classes there make that a lot easier. So even unknown, drivers and whatnot are much easier to write. Yeah.
Do you have a blog or some place where you can go to learn to write drivers?
So the question is, do we have a blog where you can go and learn to write drivers? Yes and no. No and yes. There's no specific blog or anything about it. But actually the Netduino Foundation source code would be where I would send you, because it has it has a massive driver library. So you could look at any of these. You could look at the HIH 6130, for example. You can look at the driver in here, and it's one file, and it shows you how to actually set this up. And in this case, I'll show you. This one's super easy to. In this case, I mentioned that we took care of all of the I2C plumbing. The only real specific part of this driver is this, which is the data format that the sensor brings back, and you just parse it. So in this case we're writing. There's some bit shifting that's pretty simple, but the sensor sends back some humidity readings and some temperature readings, and you can call them out. And we handle all of the I2C plumbing. In fact, if I show you the constructor, in the constructor we already have the address and the speed of that particular word. So if you have, for some reason, your board, I2C devices often have two addresses for address collision. So you could pass in the alternate address if you have two devices on there that are both at at 27, then you could override that. But basically, once you do that, because this is we're using this I2C bus class, all you have to do is pass in the address and the speed, and instantly you have I2C communications and an I2C driver. And the SPI bus is the same. It's that easy. So if you want to write these drivers, I would say go to Netduino Foundation and take a look at the code. And a lot of the API here is actually about just making an elegant API rather than the underlying driver stuff. We've sort of black boxed a lot of that, made it a lot easier for you.
That's so when you're that close to the edge, you see a lot of light shifting, a lot of that kind of
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
turn things on and off, timing it and all that kind of.
Yeah, it's funny. I never in my almost 30 years of programming, I never. It's only when you're doing hardware do you really understand the value of bit shifting and that what the bit algebra, whatever they call it. Because you're often with hardware, you're often past these data structures. They're 8 bytes, and in it, and each byte has information of whatever. You might have a dip switch or something that has 8 on off, and each one of those bytes represents an atomic piece of information. And so in this case, like this, where you use the bit shifting to pull out those to move those to a place where it just reads them, and it's kind of fun. It's it's very old school computer science. It just reminds me of. Makes me think that it's like Woz, back there, writing his first drivers for his chips. Cool. All right, folks. Any other questions? All right, fantastic. So I brought something to give away. I have actually a Netduino 3 Wi-Fi and a cool breadboard holder and a breadboard for prototyping and hardware to hook it up. And it's kind of cool. It's laser etched and cut. So these are limited editions. It's something fun. Something fun that we did. that we may or may not someday make into a product. But so I think Chris is going to help me out here by pulling
Give me a random number between 1 and 91, I guess.
1 and 91. How's 74?
74. This person may not be here, but let's try Sean Featherly.
Yeah.
Oh. There you go. Right, Sean. Word.
I'll pay you 30 bucks for it.
There you go, bud. Have fun.
It's limited edition.
Yeah.
You're doing
Have fun.
that.
Go try Netduino Foundation out, and give us a shout. Tell us what you think. By the way, like I said, for if you are doing hacking and stuff, it's a lot easier to have a backing prototype board. And if you have a 3D printer, or you have a friend that has a 3D printer, or if you have a drill and and a saw, you can make them. But definitely, get in Netduino and 3D print one of these. And on the 3D printer repo, it's got links to the hardware sizes and hardware that you can buy off of Amazon, so that you can do these up. These are actually I've got these are my test boards for Netduino Foundation, so I've got a lot of different stuff on there that I'm coding against. It makes it just makes it a lot cleaner and easier to prototype. All right, well, folks, that's it. Thanks for coming out, and find us on Twitter and read our blog and follow us. We're super early in the process, but I think that if you pay attention, we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff coming out, and give Netduino a shot. It's fun to hack on this stuff. It's like a great evenings and weekends hobby project. When you've got an idea to build something cool, go to our website and figure out how to build it. Go do it. Have
Cool.
fun.
Thanks, Bryan.
Absolutely.
We have some leftover pizza in the back, so grab some pizza on the way out. Get rid of that stuff. Thanks.
Thank you.